Hey everybody, it is Kim with A Girl and a Glue Gun. I finally want to sit down and show you how I create my free cut files using the Procreate app. It is a question I get asked the most, and it's not a question that can really be answered with words. You kind of just have to show. And so I've been meaning to get this video out forever. I'm finally sitting down and doing it. To begin with, like I said, it's the Procreate app. To really get the full benefit of the Procreate app, you're going to need an iPad Pro. And then you're going to need an iPencil. So it's a little bit pricey to start out with, but well worth it. My daughter has just a regular iPad and she uses a stylus and she can create fun things, but to get the nice sharp images that you want, you're going to need the iPad pencil, or the iPad pencil. It's a game changer. Okay, let me show you what this is. The Procreate app right there. A little colorful swirl. When you click on it, you're going to pull up, usually it pulls up to here if you're first time using it. So these are all of the things that I've played around with so far. Like sometimes I jot down ideas, sometimes I work on things. So it saves everything. You can also group. I just cleaned my screen, which maybe was a mistake because now I can't swipe very good. You can group things together. Excuse me. So this is a birthday party. All the fiesta party things that I did for my daughter. So I grouped all those together. These are ones that are finished that I've put on the blog. So like you can keep this as organized as you want. So your first time in, you're going to push this little plus up here in the corner. And I always just click screen size, but there's lots of different options. And this is going to give you a nice blank page. 2 fingers. You can move it around, play around with it. I like to make it a little bit smaller than the background because I like to see my edges. So, I'm trying to make sure that you guys can see it. Right hand corner is the little circle. That is your beautiful color wheel. So many fun options. I don't get to play around with them very much because I do cut files. So the cut files I just do black and white to make the SVG just really nice and crisp. So I don't get to play around with all these fun colors. But you can just create anything. So let's say you find the perfect green. If you want to save it, you're going to come down here and you're going to touch one of the boxes and it's going to save it. And then of course you can organize it. So these are my pastels. I have cactus colors. I was doing cactus printables, lights and brights. These are the colors that I actually use the most. And then I did a fiesta party, so there's my fiesta colors. So you can totally have a whole color palette that you always use, or you can just play around and grab. Right now I'm doing a lot of oranges because it's been fall. So I have my oranges down there, my green and my purples for the fun Halloween colors. So you kind of just get to pick and choose just how a normal color wheel goes. But remember that if you want to save it, come down here and touch it. That way it's easy to grab. So I'm just going to go boring black because that's how I roll. So right here is paintbrushes. We're on the right hand side up at the top. Paintbrushes. I've imported quite a few paintbrushes. So I can't remember which ones come with the program and which ones that I've added already, so that's kind of hard. But I did love, like I went to, I think it was Creative Market, and just grabbed a whole big bundle. And then I actually really like Red and Happy's. She's got a mono weight and just a brush, and I actually really like those two as well. And then of course if you hold down on them, you can drag them around and move them so you can put your favorites at the top. So I literally spent weeks just grabbing a brush, playing with it, seeing if I liked it, grabbing another brush. So each brush is going to be a different. If you can see, this one's got really rough edges. And where I do the cut files, I try to avoid, like I try to make it really crisp. So there are really fun brushes. I love this. There's a neon brush. And then I love brush. Has lines in it. But like I said, when you're cutting these out of vinyl, it's a little bit tricky to get all those details in. So I literally would recommend sitting down, going through every single brush, lettering some letters, and just trying to figure out what works best for you. I actually got on Pinterest and downloaded some guides. So I just sat there and sketched out the guides, kind of like I was in 2nd grade, practicing my cat. Because there is a little bit of a learning curve with this app. I've been lettering, I took calligraphy in high school, and I am a lot older than high school. So I've been lettering for quite a while. I know how it works, but it's a little bit different because the brush isn't like a normal brush where you press hard and the bristles make it big. So I did spend probably a month before I loved it. Like, it took me a little while to realize how to get my groove on. That reminded me of the Stella movie. So play around with it. Don't get frustrated if you sit down and you're just kind of like, this is not working. This doesn't look like any of the people's on the YouTube videos. So the trick with the Procreate app is if you press hard, it's big. And if you press light, it's light. So I'm going to go up soft, press hard coming down. Go up soft, press hard coming down. So it's a little bit of a learning curve, but like I said, play around with it and you will realize what works for you and what doesn't work for you. So, excuse me, when you're doing a straight line, this is one of the tricks that I use quite often. You do a straight line, if you hold it still, it will automatically straighten, and then you can move it however you want. So when I did a boo, oh, maybe I'll pick bad because that has a lot more straight lines. Hold it and it straightens, hold it and it straightens. So I use this quite a lot because it looks nice to have these nice straight lines. So over here on the left hand side, let me put, so you're going to have brush size is this slider. So this one is the big. You can go down to small, really small, right? Play around with that. This one is the opacity. So if you want it, let me make it big so you can see. So you can kind of see through it. I don't know if you can really tell. It works better if you're doing more fancy, like if there's a lot of watercolor brushes. So these came with it. There's Airbrushing Textures, Artistic, which is wet acrylic. So let's do a fun color and I'll show you. And of course, if you go down, you can't even see it, or white. So, see? Okay, and then at the very bottom is probably the button I use the most, which is, I've messed up, go back. So there's a little arrow going back and then an arrow going forward. So if I am writing, do a hello. And I don't like what I just did, I can go back and it erases. Every time you pick up your pencil, it will erase back to that mark. So if I wrote that whole hello without picking up my pencil, when I erase, it will take away the whole thing. But if I pick up and I do H, E, L, L, O, I can erase each one. There is also up here, where you're grabbing the brushes and the color, is the eraser tool. So if you want to, let's say you went a little too far over here, you can take an eraser. I actually like to zoom in, and you can change the size of the eraser. You can also adjust the brush of the eraser. And you can go in and fix your mistakes. The eraser works the exact same as the brush that you use. So, which means you could color the whole thing in black and then erase the words. Excuse me, I keep coughing. So you go in and erase. So I use that eraser tool quite often. All right, another fun thing that I absolutely love about this is the layers. So when I did, goodness, I just did a boo sign. Let me go in and show you. Here's my boo sign, okay? It's actually, there is a black layer and the white layer. That way when I'm doing cut files, I can split apart the layers, and then they can cut this out of one color and cut this out of one color instead of having a flat image. So that is one of the things that I love, is this layer. So it's these two little papers up here right next to the color dial. When you click on it, it's going to show you layers. So I try to start a new layer for each line or word or sentence. It just depends on what I'm toying around with at the time. So if you play around with these layers, if it's highlighted, you'll be able to, highlighted and clicked, you'll be able to adjust it on the screen. If it's highlighted but not clicked, you'll be able to delete it, but you can't work with it on the screen. It has to be highlighted or clicked right here in the little box to show you what it is. So this is the one I was playing around with, showing you the brushes. If we swipe, we can delete it. So we're on our layer. We're gonna write, let's see what brush we've got. We're gonna write, hi. Okay, let's say I really like it, but I want to play around with it. But since I like the first one, I always duplicate. I swipe and I duplicate it, because I don't want to play around with it and then mess it up and I can't get it back. So I always duplicate it. So I've got two layers of high. I unclick one, so I'm only working with one. So let's say I want to make a thicker layer of this high for people to cut out with vinyl. I'm going to swap out the color just so I can see it. And I'm going to start a new layer. So I have a blank layer. Now if I hold it down, I can move the layer. Whatever layer is on top is the one that's going to be on top on the screen. So if you watch, if you go like this one's, the purple's on top. If I put it down underneath, it will be behind. See, so you can do a whole watercolor background and then put your image that you've lettered right on top. Okay, so I want this top layer on top. Actually, let's do it behind. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Make this nice and fat, and I want to make it so when they cut out this high, they can cut out an outline, and then they can cut out the words, so it'll be a nice layered cut file. And don't judge me, because I'm not trying to make this perfect. Like, that bothers me, but that's okay. Exercise purposes only, right? So after I unclick this high, I'm gonna be able to see the behind. You see all the spots I missed? So I can go in and fill that in. So here's my back layer of my high, and here's the front layer of my high. But let's say I can't send it to them like this, because they want to be able to cut this in one piece and this in one piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to touch this arrow. We're on the left side. I'm on the wrong layer. I'm going to touch this arrow, and I'm going to move this high to this side. So you get to move it wherever you want. So let's say you're writing hello and you write hell and there's no place for the O. You can touch this. You can make it bigger or smaller, bigger, move it, twist it, a lot of options. And of course you can go back. So, go back to the layers. We're gonna open up this purple one. We're gonna do the same thing. So it has to be highlighted to be able to open it up and move it around. So click this. And like I said, I usually give my SVGs in black, nice clean. So I'm going to touch this purple, I'm going to touch a black, I'm going to go over making sure that that's what's highlighted, leave it on, and it will change the colors. So this is how I would send this. So they can cut out this in one color and this in one color. So that's a little bit how the layers work. Of course you can get in depth. Let me show you, like I showed you with the boo, but let me show you. Usually when I do layers, I've got 400 layers because I like to open up new layers every single time because I'm so nervous that I'm going to mess up and I don't want to lose the stuff that I've worked so hard on. So I usually have a ton of layers. Okay, so we're back to our high. And like I said, if you want fun colors, you can drag. It just is whatever is going to be clicked and highlighted is what's going to take the color. See? And then, so if you think outside the box and think about printables or something like that, I mean, the world is your oysters, but the oyster of this app. So where I do just cut files, I feel like I'm painted in a box, but that's okay. I'm all right with it because it's the funnest box to be painted into. All right, so we're going to, let's go back. We want 2 blacks so I can save it. We're gonna go up to this tool and there are all sorts of different little options here. Share, I'm gonna share my artwork and you can send it right to your email or you can save an image and send like all the images at one time. So that's how you share it to get it, like that's how I get it from my iPad to my blog. Make it a cut file. This also has a video option and it shows you what you've done and it's super fun and I play with that all the time. Keep getting notifications, sorry. You can broadcast it, you can't, I mean there's a lot of different things that you can do. I don't do any of them because I'm lame. So here's one that I do. I said do. I insert flat image. So I actually went and I took a bunch of blanks, which is empty pictures, empty cups, empty shirts, empty signs. So I can just add, so I don't have to necessarily cut everything out of vinyl. Because as much as I love vinyl, I just don't have the time to make 1,000 projects. So I made it so I feel like I'm showing you guys behind the scenes, and so now when you see these cut files on my blog, you're gonna be like, liar! She's a liar! But that's okay, you can judge me all you want. It's a time saver. So after I share, I duplicate because, like I said, I hate losing files. And since I want these on top, I make sure this green layer, which is my picture, is down below it. And then make sure whatever ones I want to play with are clicked. So these top 3 are clicked. And then I'm going to go in. So I do get to use color a little bit. Make this, oh, see, I'm not highlighted on it. I'm going to make that one red, I think. I'm going to move it so it's on the back. And then I think I'm going to make this one a blue. Hang on, I'm not highlighted on that layer. And I'm going to touch my arrow, move it in place. See, now I can just share it, share artwork, and I can act like I put this on with vinyl when in reality I didn't. So, a little bit of a behind the scenes here. So I'm going to swipe, we're going to delete delete, delete. I'm going to open up a new layer. I did want to show you, if you have layers that you like and you want to combine, you can pinch them and combine them. And if you swipe, if you touch it, you can merge down, clear, fill, copy, select, rename. Like, you can play with it quite a bit. I also love, so when I'm doing a big long sentence, if I'm doing a word, I just kind of play around with it. But I do sketch, I'll put it on my sketch pen, and I will do, oh, hang on. I will try to figure out placement, because you don't want your Y to come down and interfere with the word behind you. So I will sketch it out. Let me go back to black. And then in my layers, I open up a new layer, so the sketch is on a whole other one, so I can unclick it after I'm done. I'll touch the end, and there is another opacity. So you can make it high or low. So if I love this high, I'll click on it and make it really soft so it doesn't interfere when I'm sketching it out. It's very subtle, just like a guide. And then I can kind of fine tune it a little bit. So I've got my Count Your Blessings. I'm going to switch out from my sketch pens to inking. I'm gonna grab my Rad and Happy brush. Gotta make sure, yep. Oh, well, see, I already messed up, so I'm gonna go back. Okay, so guess what? I ran out of room. Count your blessing. You only get one blessing. So let me show you. First, I'm gonna lift it up. Hopefully it stays clear. Do you see the sketching behind it? I'm going to open it up and I'm gonna turn my sketching off. So now it looks all nice and clean. I did the sketch really light, so it's hard for you to see. So I want to slide this blessing over, right? Because I don't want to have to redo it all. Not that it's super cute. I kind of messed up on the S's, but that's okay. I'm going to take this pencil, the arrow. Right next to the arrow is a squiggly line. So what you're going to do is you are going to draw a little box around the one thing you want to move. So all of this is connected. I don't want to move the count your, I just want to move the blessings. So after I've connected the box, do you see the floating little circle that's going around it? I touch the arrow. And guess what? Now I can just move this over. I can make it small, or I can make it way bigger. So that is an option that I absolutely love about it, because I can't tell you how many times I've drawn something and I forgot to add a layer. So realistically, I should have done count, add a layer, your, add a layer, blessings. That makes it really easy to be able to just move each one and tweak it so you can get it exactly the placement that you want to. But if you forget, like I just did, say you draw a heart, and you decide you want it over here instead, you can do that. You also can, 3 fingers is the trick, swipe down with 3 fingers, copy, paste. Copy, paste. And you can cover the whole thing with whatever, oh, messed up the heart, whatever one you want. Actually, I'm gonna put it down on it. So it's the dot of the eye. So that is the main gist of how to create cut files with the Procreate app. Like I said, it is one of the most amazing apps, and I don't even scratch the surface of all that it can do. So I would recommend getting one if it's something that interests you, and spend probably a good month playing around with it and realizing all of the amazing stuff it can do, because it, honest to goodness, is crazy amount of things that it can do. Like, there's kind of no end. Every time I watch a new YouTube video, I learn something, and sometimes it's even basic stuff. So I'm just playing around with these watercolor brushes, right? There's also a splatter brush I like. And then you can use the eraser tool, and like I said, the eraser tool is the same as the pens. You can erase on it. So play around with it. I promise you, you won't be disappointed. You might be a little frustrated because there is a lot of little things to learn, but it is so much fun. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys have any questions, please leave them below. I'll try to answer them. And I'm gonna do another YouTube video on how to do a cut file start to finish, making it an SVG and everything. So stay tuned.